We're going to pivot a little bit now to empowering agents. And maybe you could give us, what are two ways eXp empowers agents to build wealth beyond commissions? Because, most estate agents, and I'm talking about in general now, traditionally are very reliant just on commission. So maybe if you want to share that with us.
Neale, I often refer back to how traditional agencies operate. So in a traditional agency, you would just purely earn commission. And I do want to raise something here today, just in conversation. You've got to look at these traditional agencies in terms of running with old systems and old tools and that kind of thing, okay, with the agent physically funding those businesses. What's going to happen at some stage when the older businesses, those traditional agencies, need to retrofit their technology to bring it to a disruptive technology type of environment? That comes at a huge cost. Okay, so the folk in those traditional agencies need to start asking questions as to why I am only earning commission normally on a 50-50 or a 60-40, maybe up to around about 70-30 split. But all of the funds that go in the direction of that business are effectively funding the business out of the agent experience. And that is where eXp has been so different. And, the visionary of Glenn Sanford starting the business in 2009 in the USA, and only starting with 35 agents, and only built to 462 agents by 2015, 1,000 agents in 2016, 6,000 agents in 2017. And he played a very clever move at that time. He registered the business as eXp World Holdings on the NASDAQ, and at 6,000 agents, effectively started making his very own agents the shareholders within his business. And to me, that was a phenomenal move. Because why? All of a sudden, you've got agents that are earning commission. And with eXp in South Africa, you either earn 71% commission or 96%. Okay, so we've got a cap value that shifts to 150,000 Rand, and then the agent shifts from 71% to 96% commission. So when broadcasting the message, bank your commissions to cover your residential and your business costs, and carry on in that sort of manner. But the second channel of income, and I loved it when Steve opened up his screen a little bit earlier and he turned around and he changed a number on his board. I think it was sitting, Steve, if you turn around, was sitting at 897, if I'm not mistaken, and now today changed to 904 agents within his organization. So we call it revenue share, and 10% of gross commission income goes into a revenue share pool, and we compensate agents down a 7-tiered structure. And it is so wonderful to watch how the wealth creation has been created for those agents that want to influence other good and producing agents into our organization. So first, bank your commissions, earn revenue share as a bonus on the 20th of every single month, and it becomes like a passive income or a bonus every single month. And it is just an incredible experience. And then the third part is we incentivize agents with eXp shares, where you become a shareholder within our business. And that's our retention tool, but it builds an asset for yourself. So once again, Neale, not laboring it, but really earn commission, earn a bonus in the form of revenue share. And we hope that that bonus in the form of revenue share will start overtaking your commission that you earn. And you just go out there and tell a really great story about your own experience. And then start building that asset in the form of eXp shares. And then the really cool one is third-party incomes, whether it be through a bond originator, bank, a currency mover, or whoever it might be. Those incomes go 100% in favor of the agent. So 4 channels of income. And I remember, Neale, many years ago when I was in the development game, what did you do? You brought out people to talk about creation of wealth. And if you can find 7 different ways of earning, you will become a wealthy individual. And most certainly, eXp offers you a guaranteed 4. There could be a 5th or a 6th channel of income through eXp, but then we're getting into detail. But I believe, and I talk about it this evening on a Zoom call at 6 p.m., I regard it as the best compensation model the world has ever seen.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. I mean, multiple sources of income. That's wonderful. So, Ferdi, let's come to you. Let's look at what are the practical systems that you use to help agents grow as business owners. Can you give us some ideas?
Neil, the amazing thing with the eXp model is that we all have practically the same opportunities to grow a business. And what I see happening throughout this organization and with my team, the big builders in my team, they are autonomous. I don't even have to encourage these people. They just do businesses and they grow their business out independent of me. But we encourage the guys to make use of all the systems that eXp offers. There is business network meetings. We host agent-led agent attraction. We call it agent attraction events, where we get a bunch of agents into a room, or just to explain the eXp model to agents on a practical level and show them how they can benefit in the eXp model, as opposed to sitting where they are currently with the traditional models, and how their futures can be so much different. So those are the practical things that we use. And then we also use technology, because a lot of the guys that are currently in eXp in my team, those people are tech wizards in their own right and business owners in their own right, and they make use of these technological platforms that is available to eXp agents, that's probably available to other agents as well, which is not harnessed as well as it is within the eXp realm. And the guys that are making use of the technology platforms, they are just excelling and growing their business exponentially and organically as they continue to build. And that is, from my point of view, how eXp is just changing lives of the agents and growing people into business owners in their own right.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Ferdi. So, Steve, moving on to you. I mean, your training background, spotting, but, agents with good talent and, skill and talent spotter. How do you spot high potential agents early and also accelerate their success?
So I guess there's two parts to that answer, Neil. The first is that eXp, so Andrew's team will vet all agents coming into eXp. And that's because obviously we want to make sure that we're bringing in agents with some experience and with some success, and we feel that they will be a fit with the culture. But as long as that box is ticked, this is an opportunity for anybody. We've got agents who are still starting out their real estate career. We've just had a capping agent at 22 years old, which was wonderful, Shanae Forster. Wow. And we've got agents who've been in the industry for 30, 40 years as members of eXp. So it's an opportunity that does not discriminate. Anybody can build their business within eXp. But then to your question, once the agents are on the platform building their business, what do I do as a team leader to kind of identify and help those who are excelling? Well, fortunately, we've got some milestones. When an agent caps, that's a big milestone in our business. So capping is when they've done 600,000 Rand gross commission. At that point, they no longer pay a split to eXp anymore for the rest of that 12-month period. So they're essentially on a 100% split. There's a 4% transaction fee they pay. But so what I've done within my team is we have a mastermind for all of the capping agents in my group, and we meet on the first Tuesday of every month. And I've got a little agenda that we use in that meeting that brings the voices of those agents out. So one person gets the floor on each meeting. And what I've found, Neil, is if you get good people together in smaller groups and you give them the floor, I've got good at, there's a couple of things I got good at. One of them is get good people together and get out the way. Let them talk. Because when good people are together, they stimulate one another. They learn from one another. So that's certainly one of the answers to your questions. I've created a few little masterminds for some of the different milestones that people hit, and I get those people together and they support one another. And Yeah, I guess I'd leave my answer there. There is other training we do, but I think that's been a key for me.
No, absolutely. Well, there's some really good techniques there, and anybody who's thinking of crossing over to eXp, I would listen very careful and actually consult there with Stephen. So thank you for that, Stephen. I think some real great insight there. So let's talk about technology and tools. And I know, Andrew, if you talk tech, I mean, eXp was, last year you actually won the Prop Tech Award at the Reside conference, and I think you've entered this year, so you've been obviously acknowledged for that, which is fantastic. And I mean, some of your technology that, when eXp first arrived on the scene was really, let's say, bleeding edge technology. It really was cutting edge stuff. So what tech innovations have made the biggest impact for eXp agents locally that you have seen?
Neale, I'm not going to isolate any one particular item, but the really nice thing about eXp is, we started out with probably a list about this long in terms of the technology that was available to our agents. It's now like this, okay? I'm really saying the tech availability to our agent team from a tech stack point of view is far more value than the 900 Rand per month that is paid by the agent to be a member of eXp. And what I love about this tech stack is it's all open to you through one email address in an agent center. It's a one-stop shop, and you can literally handpick what you want to utilize in terms of building your own technology platform or your own systems to enhance your very own sales. And what I really love about it is it's agile, it's quick, it's fast. Our tech building behind the scenes is supreme. So we're not a lethargic company, and it's a company that just is just designing and disrupting every single day. So I want to use a simple example. Our technicians, our technology developers, etc., built a system called My eXp. So it's for guys like Steve and Ferdi that want to build an international organization of real estate professionals across the globe. And I keep saying you cannot do it on an Excel spreadsheet. You can't do it on a whiteboard like Steve has got behind him. And you can't really do it on any other form other than through the technology that's available through eXp. Now, I can guarantee you there is not one company across the globe that has the ability to manage commissions, revenue shares, and third-party incomes in the manner in which we manage it, and then obviously pass on some of the profit made by the company to the big influencers to say, thank you very much for growing the company. Now, you take Steve, 904 agents within his organization. How does he manage that on an Excel spreadsheet? Absolutely impossible. We're listening to a gentleman tonight, Brent Gove. He's doing a show at exactly the same time I'm doing my show, but I'm sure a lot of people will be watching his show this evening. He's got 18,000 agents within his organization, and he was one of the founding agents in terms of building this massive network of agents. And, I'd love to get into that story, but maybe you should try get on that show this evening.
Okay, good. So anybody listening out there, get on the show. So Ferdi, I know you admitted up front that you're a bit of a technophobe, but maybe you can tell us, how has the eXp platform improved the way you manage and you scale your team?
Neale, I think Andrew has touched on a few things that I wanted to highlight there. The technology is absolutely phenomenal. Even a dinosaur like myself, I can run this thing with no issues and move this thing through to transactions, and it's all on one platform. And the My eXp app that we have, it's on our cell phones, it's on our laptops, on our iPads, wherever you are, it is available. You can see, you can track the growth of your team, you can track the growth of your income, you can see what is happening in your organization right through from your first year right down to your 7th year, and track every little bit of income that comes through the system. And it's all technology driven. I don't have to touch anything. It is just a platform that runs in the background, and it allows you to scale and grow, like Andrew mentioned. If you are into growing a big network of agents, that platform is amazing, and it allows you to just sit back and look into the system and see your business grow and its skills. And it is just amazing that even, like I said, a tech dinosaur can actually have a business growing exponentially without even me having to fiddle with things that I can mess up. So yeah, technology is absolutely fantastic. It helps and it grows and it's running in the background without my interference or intervention.
So just extending on that conversation, Stephen, what training tools or systems in technologies are agents underusing, in your opinion?
Yeah, look, I think that would vary from agent to agent, Neale, and I think you wouldn't actually find one of the 1,300 and counting agents at eXp who would say to you they are maximizing all of the systems, because we've got so many systems and tools. We've got the iBid platform, we've got social media stuff. I mean, we've just got endless tools. So actually what agents have to do is they have to get clear on their own strategy, and then get clear on which tools will serve their strategy and start from there. But if I was going to give you one thing that I think agents generally could make more of, it's on the agent attraction side of things. There's more than most agents are taking advantage of there. So we developed a tool right in the early days. It's a video that explains eXp's model, which does take a little bit of explaining. If you want to understand what eXp does, this is a radical business. You need to sit down for half an hour and actually, you need to absorb it. So we created a video. It's at themodelexplained.co.za, and that's a website that I would love to see more of our agents taking advantage of, to invite colleagues that they know in the industry to have a look at the model so that they can build their own revenue share teams. And we've worked really hard on developing those kinds of videos that tell the story well, and the agents that use them get results.
Thanks for that. So let's pivot a little bit to mentorship and leadership. Andrew, what's your leadership philosophy? How do you apply it to your national team?
So Neale, I looked at the magazine the cover page you got on your screen, the Real Estate Investor magazine, and I'd love people just to go there, just to read the articles within that magazine. You got Glenn Sanford, Felix Bravo talking about the future of real estate. You've got the likes of Ferdi and Steve doing a Q&A about their own experiences. And you just posed the question, my leadership philosophy. I talk a lot about it in that particular magazine, and it is really a people first type of approach. So our business is all about relationships and people first. I really handpicked my leadership, my support team, the 22 of us that are here locally in South Africa. And we handpick those individuals for skill, for attitude, for support of our very own agent team. And, I think the people first approach with our very own agent team is we want to be the most agent-centric real estate company in Africa when it applies to South Africa. We want to support our agents in the best possible manner, and not only through technology and tools, but through relationships and through the approach to life, and giving people a balanced life through their real estate experience. And I think that to me is absolutely important. So just from my side, something that's lived with me for my entire life. I got sent off the rugby field in under 13. Okay. I shouldn't be telling you this. And my grandfather, who was a previous Springbok rugby player, played for the Springboks 1928, played on the wing, and a phenomenal individual, headmaster of Kingswood College in Grahamstown. And he walked me off the field and he took me behind the pump house where they pumped the water onto the field. And he said to me, Andrew, it's not whether you win or lose. It's how you play the game. All right. And if you really think about it, we've really adopted that kind of approach within our business. It's not whether you win or lose, but it's very much about how you play the game. And that's lived with me forever. And I just love applying that within our business, because if you can create friends, you can create family. It just creates a bigger friend, a bigger family, and a bigger community. And that is the gist behind this business. So, our vision for the future, we've gone from 0 agents to 1,300 agents. We have grown from the 6,000th largest real estate company in South Africa down to number 3, according to ChatGPT. All right. And to have the ability to do that, it's not about me. It's about the people that surround you. And it's about the agent team that's been attracted into our organization that are doing the heavy lifting to attract other good producing agents into our organization. And I can only thank Steve and Ferdi and the big players within our industry just to say thank you so much, you incredible people.
No, wonderful. I think a nice analogy there, you win or lose with the same level of enthusiasm. And I think that's a fantastic analogy which you put across there. So, Ferdi, coming across to you, you're sitting there as the chair of the South African Agent Advisory Council. So how do you mentor other leaders in the industry with the fact that you are sitting in the SAAC chair?
Yeah, Neale, it's a brand new appointment for me, but being in this position, it allows me and it gives me the opportunity to interact with so many leaders in our eXp network and outside of our group as well, So I've got a very much a participative and consultative leadership style. I'm open to conversation with people, and whenever there's someone with a question about their business or our business, how we interact and I'm always open to listen and to give guidance if possible and to help people along. And so people tend to I'm not a very vocal person, shout from the rooftop type of guy. But I think I've got the ability to assess situations quite calmly and bring sort of a what do you call it, a level-headed approach to crisis situations and calm people down. And so I tend to guide people sort of and steer them in a direction where everybody wins. That's my philosophy in life. One looks for opportunities where we, instead of clashing heads, make sure that everybody is nurtured in an environment or nurtured in a situation that when we walk away from a situation, that it is a positive and a win-win for everybody and for the bigger good of the organization. And so when I speak to people and leaders in our organization, it will always be from that premise that what is in it, how can we make things better for the organization and for the agent team and for the rest of the community. So, and that is what I always try and do, nurture and help grow people along those lines.
Wonderful. I think good philosophy. So, Stephen, why is mentorship, and I think that's such an important thing, the key differentiator in the success of agent teams?
Yeah, it's especially in eXp, the context of eXp. It's an interesting question, that, because eXp, we don't have any authority to, if you compare it to the conventional model of real estate, the agents within eXp, all 1,300 of them, are independent contractors. None of us work for each other. Nobody can tell anybody what to do. We're all on our own journey. But that has had it's done something to the culture of this organization, where anybody who comes into eXp and they attend some meetings, they come to some events, they cannot help be struck by the fact that this is such a collaborative environment, where everybody seems there's no negative energy in the business. Now, obviously, yes, one or two people are going to do stuff we don't like. That's life. And then Andrew is very good at dealing with it when it happens. But generally speaking, the business has an incredible culture because there's no authority. But because of the revenue sharing model, if you understand that model, many of us have a vested interest in each other's success. So Ferdi is in my revenue share group. So if Ferdi does well, I do well as well. So I want him to do well, not just because I like him, he's a good guy, but because if he does well, I do well. Those two things combined have created an environment of growth within the company. But now to your question, within that, now you have the opportunity to do true mentorship, because it's without authority. It's one-on-one. It's me helping you. And I think all I would say on that is each team leader within eXp can do that differently. But man, we learn pretty quickly. We need each other in life. We need each other. We need each other to help in times of crisis. We need wisdom that we don't have. And I'm continually amazed, Neale, little old me. I've walked down certain roads, and when I get together with an agent and I talk to them and I make time for someone and I let them tell me their struggle, and I'm amazed how many times I actually do have something helpful to say to them. And I still get amazed by myself, but simply because I've walked down that road a little bit, and we can now pour into the lives of others. And I think eXp's model is such that it fosters that sort of collaboration and mentorship.
No, wonderful. I think you can tap into each other, which is so important, and that mentorship and that assistance, just having somebody out there to take the next step, and, all come across challenges. So I'm going to move on to scaling the business, and let's call it the movement, Andrew. So what's the biggest growth opportunity you see on the horizon? And, pertaining to eXp, but also just overall from a business opportunity.
So, Neale, are you talking about the vision, where we're going to in the future?
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Neale, I believe my job will be done when we hit 5,000 agents within our organization. So double the size of the largest real estate company in South Africa at the present moment. And I've got no doubt that we will get there. But I did say it earlier, we're the largest lister in the Western Cape. We're number one in the Eastern Cape. We're number two in KwaZulu-Natal. We're number two in Gauteng. And we're starting to dominate every single province across South Africa. So with our 1,300 agents, we got over 12,200 listings at the present moment. And that is converting into production. So it gives the agent the ability to go out there and say, I feel like I'm doing well. And other agents take notice of this, and they look in and they start magnating towards our very own agent team. And through success, you breed more success. And a happy and a good agent attracts another happy and good agent. And those agents then have the ability to become great. All right. So we are on a success plan in the future for our very own real estate agent team. And I say, 5,000 agents, 2 years ago, we would have thought, no, it's not achievable in the manner that we're growing at the present moment. And Steve, maybe you can tell the story a bit later on. Just, Glenn Sanford and myself were on stage at Build Africa, Steve's conference down in Cape Town. And I nudged him on the leg to say, why did it take so long for you to go from 0 agents to 1,000 agents in a big America with over 1 million real estate professionals when it took us 3 years here locally in South Africa? But Steve knows in particular, he's done the research, and I'd love you to talk about it, Steve. The curve comes from when you hit 1,000 agents, and the steep curve comes from thereafter. So to hit 3,000 and then 4,000 and 5,000 agents I believe, is very easy to achieve. Now, we can run all the numbers, and we can paint that picture in terms of saying we want to be the biggest and the best. But what we do want to be is we want to remain the most agent-centric, agent-friendly real estate company on the planet and here in Africa. And I think, if we look at our agent team, we want people to come across to us, live their passion, wake up with a bounce in their step, be a wealth creator, be a game changer, give the agent freedom to go out there and do what they really do well. And all we need to do is equip the agent. Just equip the agent, and the growth will happen naturally.
Excellent. So, Stephen, do you just want to extend on what Andrew said, and maybe give some practical advice, what you would give somebody wanting to build a team also at eXp?
Yeah, thanks, Neale. So Andrew is right. If you look at how eXp grew in the States, it took them, whatever it was, 10 years to get to 2.5% of the estate agent population in America. And then in the next 3 years, they went from 2.5% to 10%. So the critical mass happens because eXp grows through the agents themselves sharing their story, sharing their success, and inviting other agents to look. It begins to gather momentum as more and more agents get on the platform. And that's what we've seen, that at 2.5%, there is this sudden growth, exponential explosion. And we've just about reached that 2.5% mark in eXp South Africa now. And we believe, all other things being equal, we could see the same over the next few years, that we go from 2.5% to 10%. In a short period of time, and certainly the technology is good enough, the leadership are good enough, and I'm confident that we are going to do that. Advice to agents wanting to build a revenue share team. Obviously, you've got to be a member of eXp in order to do that. But if you're an eXp agent out there and you're wanting to know how can I do this better, very simple advice to you is make a list of every estate agent on the planet that you know. They don't only have to be in South Africa. You can sponsor agents in any of the 28 countries where eXp operates, as easy as you sponsor your next door neighbor. Make a list of all the agents you know, and then start a long-term weekly discipline of showing 2 or 3 agents how the model works, and keep that up for 12 months. It's the consistency of sharing the vision that sees it begin to grow. And you'll figure the rest out. There's lots more to learn, but you'll figure that out as you start getting some momentum.
Excellent. Okay, so I want to get your final thoughts from each one of you, and and also particularly from a legacy perspective, but also your final thoughts sort of going forward. Somebody's probably thinking about, this eXp thing sounds exciting. So let's start off with you, Ferdi. How are you designing a legacy that lasts beyond just a career in property?
Quite an interesting thing with eXp. When one goes through your real estate career over the years, and you slog it out, you've been working for 20 odd, 30 odd years, but you're still at point zero where you started 50 years ago, 20 years ago, in the traditional real estate environment, because there's no pension fund unless you've acquired some properties over the years that you rent out, that you're building a pension fund through a property portfolio. But truth being told, not many agents have that savvy and that ability. It's just a grind, daily grind. With eXp, it is completely changed. It flipped the script completely. Now you come into an environment where you have the ability and the potential to build genuine wealth through the revenue share model by building a network of agents, building a solid revenue share team of whatever your size, well, however big you want to dream. You can build this thing as big or small as you want to, creating genuine real estate wealth for yourself, for your family, for your grandchildren, children, the whole works. eXp allows us that. And then you have access to equity shares, which we participate in as eXp shareholders. You get given shares in the company, and you can purchase shares from your commissions that you earn. So, in essence, you are now planning and having an opportunity to leave something behind for your offspring. When you are long gone from this planet, your legacy can continue. You have it because your income just continues to come through. And that is something that the traditional real estate model cannot offer any agent. eXp is the only model that I know of on this planet that can create that and that can sustain that. So that's my short answer, Neale.
Touché. Nice way to finish. So, Andrew, your thoughts? Somebody who's probably looking to make a leap, from another agency, and then also just in final thoughts, just to leave somebody thinking about that, but also on legacy. What does building a legacy mean to you personally and professionally? and what it could mean to somebody else in closing.
Yeah, Neale, your first question, don't wait too long. But do the research, go chat to the Steves and the Ferdis and chat to other eXp agents, find out more about how we operate, who we are, what we're about, etc., and be comfortable with your shift. And, I think if you make the right decisions, you'll be able to pivot in this industry and create that wealth and be a game changer and do things differently and wake up in the morning with serious intent. And I think we're going to change people's lives. But talking on legacy, Neale, the ability to have a sustainable future. And what we decided to do as a company, 0.5% of our gross commission income goes to Laureus Sport for Good. And the reason why the agent team chose that particular social responsibility program is not only does it give us the ability to mix and mingle with the likes of Brian Abana, Mornay Duplessis, the real celebrities in sport, but Marlene Kutsia, who heads up Laureus Sport for Good, just an incredible lady giving back to families, communities through sport and leaving a legacy for the future. So our contribution through our agent team last year was 1.3 million rand. We handed over a check at our annual awards here at the Elangeni in Durban during December last year. And for me, that was an incredible moment and an incredible relationship that we're going to continue into the future. Incidentally, down in Cape Town on Thursday, and we've got a small event just celebrating with one of their projects down there. But leaving a legacy for the future through our very own agent team. If we can showcase and train up our very own people to leave a legacy for their spouses, for their future generations, their children, their grandchildren, etc., and not effectively just earn commission going into the future, but earn those pillars of wealth that I spoke about a little bit earlier, lead a balanced life, but certainly leave a legacy for their spouse and their future generations. I believe with the people that we've got within our organization, the manner in which we operate, that we certainly are going to change people's lives forever going into the future through real estate. Thank you.
Wonderful. Great way to finish there, Andrew. Thank you very much. Wonderful chatting to you, Andrew Thompson, who's the country leader there at eXp South Africa. So, Stephen, it's last but not least. You got the last words over here. So maybe, what are your final thoughts that you'd like to maybe leave a little bit of advice, for people going forward? What's the message that you want you and your team and also your family to remember you for? Or maybe, a little bit of divine inspiration for somebody who's looking to move over. Your final thoughts.
Well, so let's start with just the final thoughts for someone who's all I can echo is what Andrew said. Just do your homework, I don't know if you ever had your mom or dad read you a Dr. Seuss novel when you were a kid, Neale. But,
yes, that definitely, yes. That was one of the books.
He wrote this one book called Green Eggs and Ham.
Yes, remember that one.
In Green Eggs and Ham, there's this little dude. His name's Sam I Am, and he's now chasing around a slightly bigger dude, trying to get him to taste the green eggs and ham. And it's a rhyme, and it's, will you try them on a boat? Will you try them on a goat? Will you try them in the rain? Will you try them in a train? And this guy's running away the whole time. I will not try them on a goat. I will not try them on a boat. I will not try them in the train or in the rain because I don't like green eggs and ham. And it's so much fun to read your kids. And then at the end of on the second last page, the guy who's saying no, he's so exhausted by Sam I Am's persistence that he says, okay, I will try the green eggs and ham. So he tries it, and then, as a kid, you love it. You turn the page, and his face lights up, and it's like, I do like green eggs and ham. And then he goes through the whole run. I will have them with a goat. I will eat them on a boat. And I've often thought, Neale, I've been a bit like Sam I Am over the last 4.5 years, just trying to get agents to stop long enough, go to themodelexplained.co.za and watch that 30-minute video. Because, agents are so busy, they're distracted, they're skeptical, they're bigoted, because I've got my tribe that I'm a member of. And I'm trying to say to people, no one's trying to get you to do anything you don't want to do. Just understand what you're saying no to, because this business is better than you think it is. Just have a look at it. So I guess that would be my final word to the folks out there.
Excellent. Great. That's Stephen Johnstone. He's one of the founding powers behind eXp South Africa and so eXp Realty South Africa. So first of all, thank you so much, Andrew, Ferdi, and Stephen. It was an insightful and I think a very honest conversation with lots of inspiration. And I think if you're an agent watching this, know that there is a path to ownership growth and a better future. And it starts with asking the right questions and also surrounding yourself with the right people. So reach out, attend a model explained session, or speak to one of these leaders directly at eXp. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time on REI Investor Talk. And here's to building lasting legacies together. Thank you, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you, Neale. Thanks, everybody.
Cool. No, that's wonderful. Thanks, guys. I think that was a good one. Very good.
Happy.
Yes, very much so. And hopefully you guys are happy. You didn't miss anything, did you? Cool. Great. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Neale. Very much appreciated. Thanks,
pleasure.
Steve. Thanks, Ferdi.
Cheers, All the best.
Cheers, Ferdi.
Cheers,
Cheers,